Welcome back to Good Day State Line. Sunburn is going to happen to you this summer, so let's get as prepared as we can be before that happens. Tonight we have sensitive skin expert Dr. Flora Stay here with us to help us out. Hi, Dr. Stay.
Good morning, Michelle.
So thanks so much for joining us. We want to hear the best ways to treat sunburn, and I know you're going to kind of talk about this in two different categories, stuff we can just like make at home and then stuff we got to go get at the store.
Yes, of course, sunburn can be just mild, or it can really even turn into an infection if you allow it to be. So it's very important to limit your time in the sun. But when you do get burned, yes, I do have some suggestions. A great way to soothe the sunburn is to either take a bath in about a cup of oatmeal mixed with a couple of tablespoons of baking soda. It just really tends to soothe the body. You have to make sure you don't use hot water. Use a cool or tepid water. Or if you want to, you could even make a compress out of that. Mix the oatmeal with the baking soda, a couple of tablespoons and a cup of oatmeal, and just apply it with a wet washcloth to the areas that are really burning. There are certain things for your lips. You can use lip balm with shea butter. I really like shea butter. It tends to really be soothing again and deeply moisturizing. But you do have to be careful and read the ingredients. For example, this particular moisturizer does have petroleum jelly, which you do not want to use. It does clog pores. And if you leave it with the clogged pores, you may even get blisters and that type of thing, which can convert to an infection. Butter and petroleum jelly are no-no. You do not want to use that. You think it might feel good, but you don't want to use it. Same with ice. It may give you temporary relief, but it's really not a good thing. So you don't want to use ice either. Vinegar is a myth that you may find on some websites, but it smells awful if you apply it. And also, some studies have shown dermatologists feel that it could cause more damage. So stay away from that as well. Arnica is great for just pain and that kind of thing to soothe very dry, burnt skin. Emu oil is absolutely wonderful. It has some anti-inflammatory properties, so it'll help again with the healing process. It's great for any kind of burn. Of course, you can always use over-the-counter non-steroidal products like aspirin or Tylenol for pain as well. Another kind of compress you could use is something like chamomile tea. If you steep it and use it again as a compress, wait till it cools, and then over those burnt areas. So those are some techniques at home you can use. Again, if you tend to see blisters, oozing pus, you want to see a dermatologist because you could have some infections at that point that may need further treatment.
Sure. So I definitely think it's pretty easy for all of us to go to the store and have oatmeal and baking soda and chamomile tea on hand ready for the summer.
Yes, and don't think just because you get a sunscreen that has an SPF 50 that you can stay in the sun forever, because you're still going to burn. In fact, a lot of studies show that all you need is 15 or 30, and that'll do just as well, because you do have to keep applying the sunscreen every 2 hours. And by the way, I have a lot of information on my website on the SPF factor, what really works, what the studies show, and that's drstay.com.
Awesome. And that's a good tip too. You know, a lot of people do think that the higher the number, the more protection, but you're saying it's more important to keep applying it. That's way more important than getting SPF 3 million, which I know doesn't.
That's right. Yeah. And one other thing, if you do have a sunburn, make sure you wear loose clothing. Don't wear anything that's really tight that further aggravates your skin, the burn. So loose clothing, and of course, always use sunglasses. a hat when you're in the sun, direct sun when it's really hot, and really stick with sun that's before 10 o'clock,
Okay.
after 4 p.m. That's the safest time to get that wonderful sunshine on you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your tips tonight, Dr. Stay.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Coming
Thank
up
you.
next, we are talking and buying houses with Gambino Realtors, and then Tuesday Trends. We'll be right back.